grade 12s. Today we're looking at the section on agriculture. We're going to do this section in two parts. So let's get started. So agriculture is the practice of growing crops and raising livestock. This farming can be either extensive or intensive. Let's have a look at the two. Extensive farms are really big farms. They have low inputs per hectare, although their yield per hectare is also low. The total output that they get is high, and this is because of the size of the farms. So examples of this are maize farms, wheat, sunflower, and the really large cattle ranches. This picture at the top here on the right-hand side, that would be an extensive farm. If we look at intensive farming, it's a much smaller scale, high levels of input, so it's labor intensive, a lot of capital to get going, uses a lot of water. The yields are typically very high, and examples of these are eggs, mushrooms, flowers, anything that's grown in those sort of hothouse tunnels. Tomatoes and cucumbers are good examples of these. So South Africa's GDP, always try to get you the latest figures. Sometimes I'm more successful than others. So what we're really looking at here is agriculture, and agriculture contributes, in 2016, contributed 2% to the GDP. What's interesting is to have a look here. In 1951, agriculture was contributing 16.6%, and by 2011 that had dropped to 3.2%, whereas we're now standing on 2%. It is in fact that the agricultural sector has shrunk a little. However, you must remember this is a percentage of the whole, and the other functions or other parts of the economy have grown exponentially. So that's also why it looks so much smaller. So according to the World Bank development indicators they collected in 2019, agriculture in South Africa employs about 5.09% of the working population. And the sector also contributes to the GDP in a more sort of indirect way, in that the sector provides raw materials for other secondary economic activities. It promotes transports with the inputs such as fertilizer and livestock feed that have to be delivered to the farms, and then the outputs of the actual agricultural products themselves. South Africa exports a lot of our agricultural goods. Top on the list there's horticulture. It's our biggest export earner, followed by sugar, maize, wheat, and wool in more or less that order. Just in case we didn't know, horticulture is primarily fruits, vegetables, and flowers. So in South Africa, we have a dual farming economy. What this means is that we have the traditional subsistence type farming, but we also have large commercial farms. So let's have a look at some of the differences in these. Where does the food that's produced actually go to, the destination of the foods? Subsistence, it's definitely for own use. I mean, that is the essence of subsistence, and perhaps that which is left for a local market. Commercial goes to big food manufacturers and large markets. Power to farm. Subsistence is draft animals or manual labor yourself. Commercial is looking at petroleum and electricity. Here, what we mean is diesel-powered tractors and harvesters, etc. The plant nutrients for subsistence, it's the nutrients come from ash, bones, and manure from the animals nearby. Commercial, chemical fertilizers, that's all that they use. Pest control. Subsistence is crop rotation and intercropping. What that means is just planting certain things together. For example, if you plant garlic with your root crops, it will help control pests. In commercial farming, that's using chemical insecticides and fungicides. Weed control, manually by hand, or great big herbicides. Implements and tools, more traditional, and then for commercial are highly mechanized. Seed, in subsistence farming, is they normally keep some seed from the previous year's harvest to plant again for the next year. Whereas commercial farms, they buy the biggest, best seed from bulk suppliers. Livestock feed, in subsistence farming, it's grass or fodder grown on their own farm. Some common land can be opened up for grazing, whereas commercial, they buy bulk feed from suppliers. So the main products produced in South Africa, if we have a look at these, we have some tropical fruits in KwaZulu-Natal, down in this region here. Here's KwaZulu-Natal. We have the tropical fruits, as well as sugarcane grown in the same sort of region. Citrus fruits, we've got some grown up here in Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and then a bit in the Western Cape. Also, there's some citrus fruit here in the Eastern Cape. Deciduous fruits, definitely in the Western Cape, that's their place. And then wheat. Wheat is grown primarily here in the Western Cape because wheat is a winter rainfall crop. So South Africa's main agricultural products, our biggest and most important crop is maize because it's a staple diet for a large portion of the population. It's also used for animal feed for chickens, cattle, pig, and so on. It's used in the production of other food as well, such as beer, cooking oil, and margarine, and it is a summer rainfall crop. Wheat, grown exclusively on large-scale commercial farms. As I said previously, it's a winter rainfall crop, so Western Cape. Sugarcane grows in very high rainfall regions, so they're on the other side of the country in KwaZulu-Natal, and it's a major export, generating between 1 and 2 billion rand annually. As far as animal products are concerned, our largest single agricultural product is chickens. Sheep in the drier western parts of the country and cattle in areas with a higher rainfall. Dairy cattle specifically are farmed near to main urban centres to enable the quick transport of the milk products. Just for interest's sake, maize is in fact not indigenous to South Africa. It was first domesticated as a cereal grain in southern Mexico, probably about 10,000 years ago.